that it heals the mind, the body, the energy, and it has a way of helping people in their environment, and just things change. And that's quite exciting. And so no matter what's happened in my life on the business side of things, or any kind of other career I've had, because I've had some pretty shitty jobs and I've done some pretty hard things, and I've had loads of knockbacks, and I've had the rug ripped from underneath of me, and I've had a range of different things. But whatever's happening in my personal life, whatever happens in my career, and whatever happens in the business side while running Reiki in my business, I don't let the two mix. So when I get to a point where I'm with a person, I'm with the person. So my stuff, I put it in a box, I chain it up, I put it to the side, and I'll pick it up later if I need to, but I don't let that interfere in the session or the training or who I'm working with, because at the end of the day, the energy is beautiful. It does amazing things, and it shifts some wonderful stuff for people. And so why wouldn't I be excited about it? And why wouldn't I be excited about what's going to happen next for them? Welcome, I'm Diana Fels, and thanks for joining me. I'm passionate about helping people transform for their own light to shine. I'm super excited to be in Japan, Kyoto, on Mount Kurama, and this is a wonderful place to be, and a great place to talk about my passion for Reiki, or enthusiasm for Reiki, which is something that's come up recently for me. And it was interesting, only a few weeks ago I was talking at an event, and the comments were made, oh, you're real, like when you talk about Reiki and your story about Reiki, you've got a lot of enthusiasm, which was really, really good. But then there was a second comment which really took me back and shocked me, and I couldn't believe you'd ask something like that, because that wouldn't occur to me. And the question was, after doing it for 20 years, how do you stay so passionate and enthusiasm in it? And it was the way it was asked, and I think the tone of it, it was almost like it was very much, this person was very flat, or just doesn't see the or have that passion or enthusiasm for Reiki anymore. And then they're kind of like, it was almost like criticizing, well, how can I be so passionate about it after so long? And that really shook me, because that was kind of on many levels. Because from putting my business hat on, business 101, you're just going, well, it doesn't matter if you're into Reiki or some other modality or what you're working with, you've got to have some passion or enthusiasm or interest in it, or at least belief, because if you don't, you won't survive in business. Because if you go out in business today and your motivation is, I just want to make money, or I hate my boss and I want to leave my job, then you're never going to make it. You're never going to make it. You're going to fail for sure. You've got to have a different kind of why you're in it, because the world of business, forgetting about Reiki for a moment, it's whatever job you're doing. Say you're doing 40 hours in your last job, you're going to do 80 hours in your own business, and whatever you're paid in the Reiki space, divide it by 3. So you are on far less pay, working far more hours, and it is a lot of work, not just from physical sense, but it has a mental, emotional sort of space with it, especially on the business side of things. Not so much the Reiki. The Reiki is a very different world, because you can see the benefits of how that transforms for people, even though the pay and everything else doesn't equate. So you've got to have a different why you're motivated in doing something, other than just, I just hate my job, or I want a quick fix, or you're looking to make money overnight. Because the world of Reiki, to solely, wholly make that your whole business and be successful, it's quite rare. You usually need multiple modalities, at least at the start, to sort of make enough. Or you're having 2 jobs. Well, most people have 2 jobs, where they have a job somewhere else, whether it's full-time or part-time, with part-time Reiki on the side. But so that kind of shook me, like, why would you ask something like that? And you kind of like reflect it, because I'm a bit of a reflection kind of person. So just going, have you never had that spark for it, and you're just doing it because it was a business and a way of doing something? Or have you not seen how good it makes people and the changes it does for people? Or has life, business, and I can understand the business side of things, like, there is a lot of knockbacks, there is a lot of challenge. It can be deflating at times, it can dim your light for sure, but that's not the Reiki, that's the business, another side. So I can see how that sort of, deflates you sometimes, or you lose your spark and interest, but it shouldn't change the way you feel about Reiki or how you talk about it. I would think there should be some inner lining spark and passion there. And for me, when I'm looking for a therapist, no matter if it's Reiki or something else, I would want someone who is, passionate, keen, enthusiasm, or at least believe in it, because those kind of people, you're going to get a whole lot more out of it and benefit from it. Someone who is doesn't have an interest in it, has lost their spark, is quite deflated, well, you'll feel that, because it is an energy-based sort of system, so that'll come across in whatever healing or training. And what was more interesting is, like, the person who asked this question has a name for themselves and is out there publicizing themselves quite big in training as well. And you're going, if you're so deflated and can't understand why someone would be so passionate or enthusiastic in Reiki, and you're training someone, that to me has lots of question marks, and maybe it's time, like, to take a step back, maybe have a pause, recharge your batteries, and get yourself back into a state where you can give the best you can when you're working with someone or either training someone. But yeah, it was just an interesting, comments, because sometimes people ask some strange things sometimes, or it's the tone of it or the way it is, and you just go, it wouldn't even occur to me. If someone had a talk, even if they, that question wouldn't even come up on my radar. And for me, in my journey, when I started Reiki in 2003, which at this point in time was nearly 20 years ago, it was a big journey. I didn't know anything about Reiki, and that's another story for another day, but along the way it sort of taught you, showed you, guided you, and then eventually I got to understand what it's really all about, and you see more and more and more that it heals the mind, the body, the energy, and it has a way of helping people in their environment, and just things change. And that's quite exciting. And so no matter what's happened in my life on the business side of things, or any kind of other career I've had, because I've had some pretty shitty jobs and I've done some pretty hard things, and I've had loads of knockbacks, and I've had the rug ripped from underneath of me, and I've had a range of different things. But whatever's happening in my personal life, whatever happens in my career, and whatever happens in the business side while running Reiki in my business, I don't let the two mix. So when I get to a point where I'm with a person, I'm with the person. So my stuff, I put it in a box, I chain it up, I put it to the side, and I'll pick it up later if I need to, but I don't let that interfere in the session or the training or who I'm working with, because at the end of the day, the energy is beautiful. It does amazing things, and it shifts some wonderful stuff for people. And so why wouldn't I be excited about it? And why wouldn't I be excited about what's going to happen next for them? My personal stuff, well, yeah, that can be deflating. That can sometimes want you to give up. Absolutely. And it can, give you very much days where you feel quite down and ready to pack it all in. But from the Reiki side, no, that hasn't stopped, as in how I feel about it. And over time, it took a long time to realize what it's about and what it could do, and seeing the shifts it makes for people and the things it changes in people's lives. And I'm a bit of a sensation person, so I do feel it in my hands, body, around me. And it's also interesting what people maybe feel, sense, or just what changes from it. And sometimes you get to find out, and sometimes you don't, and that's okay. And I'm trying to more and more work in traditional ways of thinking and not get attached to it. But even though, you'll notice it, and whatever it does, okay, right, it's time to move on or to do whatever I need to do, because it sometimes shows you. it still excites me, and it's almost like even 20 years on, it doesn't matter what someone says, what someone does, what I'm feeling, I still get excited about it, and it's still like, because to me it's not just about what you're feeling or what happens there or what's being said at that very moment. I know something's going to shift next, and what it shifts next can be quite amazing and powerful, and maybe I get to know and maybe I don't get to know, but that's exciting to me. And it's almost like I feel like you know, you have a little puppy dog that's waiting for you to get home. It's like when something sort of happens and these things where people telling you, yeah, I get excited, I can't help it, I got excited then, I get excited now, and I still will get excited. Sure, life, business, other things will kind of really throw you a challenging blow, and that can sometimes deflate you, and sometimes going, oh God, do I really want to keep going, or should I just give up? Is this how it needs to be? But it certainly doesn't change the way I feel about Reiki and the excitement for it. So yeah, it was just strange when someone asked that question, and someone who is predominantly in this world, and someone who is out there saying they're the best in training and stuff. So you just go, interesting who might gravitate towards them. But anyway, I thought they'll share that's a little bit about me and some of my journeys, and I still have a passion 20 years on for it, and I still will. And no matter what's going on in my life, you know, that's other stuff, and yes, that sometimes can get you down, up, high, all over the shop, but I certainly won't ever lose the passion for Reiki and what it can do, and what it has done for people, and also what it's done for me, and continually doing for me as well, and for others. So I'd love to hear your journey in Reiki, and your interest in your passion about it. Leave some comments below. Would love to hear about it. Peace to you all, and keep shining your light. Arigato gozaimasu.